Right, yes, welcome back. Family and Values still here. We're talking about the truth about expectations in relationship. But like I said, I have an expert in the building, and his name is Lawrence Otiala, who's an entrepreneur, a social commentator, and most other relationship experts. Welcome to the show. It's good to be on set with you again this time around. Okay, yes, now talking about truths about expectation in relationship. First of all, I want to ask, is it necessary to have expectation in relationship and marriage? Is it something of necessity?
Well, I'll say yes, it is. It is a necessity. Humans, expectation is part of human nature. You can't run away from it. It's not just about relationship. But if we are to narrow it down to relationship, it is essential you have expectation in your relationship. But what is paramount is how you go about the expectation. Because from the clip, we talked about realistic and unrealistic expectation. So you need to have an expectation that is realistic, and you need to constantly communicate those expectations between both partners. Because, like I said, expectation in a relationship is a good thing. It shapes the dynamics of that relationship, set the tone, and create this atmosphere of support system between partners. If there is effective communication of those expectations. However, the caveat is that you must be careful not to have an unrealistic expectation, because that might kind of lead to bring any kind of adverse effects on that relationship, create problems between partners that may lead to emotional stress, and make one or both of them feel let down that the other partner is not being supportive enough or not meeting their expectations. So what they need to watch out for, have their expectation in their relationship or marriage. However, ensure that your expectations are realistic.
Exactly, which, you know, in the mini feature they said there are expectations and there are realities. It's like expectation is different from the reality. Now, I want you to please explain the difference, because reality is like, it's not even a part of expectation. And expectation is something else, like you said, it's something you expect your partner to do.
When you talk of reality, why they say expectation and reality is the person you are with, the person you are dating or you are married. You know his standing. You know what that person can do. So your expectation, ordinarily, it should align with the reality of the person.
Okay. So
you cannot, for instance, you can't, let me say you have, few weeks ago, when I was here on set with Barbara, we raised an issue about a banker, a female banker who got married to a vulcanizer. Now, that female banker, she sees the vulcanizer, her husband. The reality is that he is a vulcanizer. And she should know what to expect from that man.
Right.
So if she now have expectation that doesn't align with the reality of a vulcanizer, then it makes no sense. So you must align your expectation with the person, your partner.
But don't you think that when you expect your expectations of your partner, don't you think it could in a way even shape the person to be better?
No, it's not about that. Being ambitious is different from, the truth of the matter is that for now, this is who your partner is. You need to accept that first.
Okay.
And decide, okay, can I go ahead with this? Can I propel this person? Does this person have that charisma? Does this person have those qualities in which if there's a little push, this person can move to the next level? Those are all the things you need to analyze before you begin to come up with. Everything boils down to having a realistic expectation. And the only way you can have that is when you align it
with the person,
Person's
the reality of the person.
Okay, now let's bring an example. We have a medical doctor who got married to a medical doctor. Obviously,
Yes.
there's the home responsibility and everything.
Yeah.
Now, for the man, expecting that, oh yes, you're a medical doctor, I married a medical doctor, I still need you to be available as a wife, and as same thing available as a mother to the children. Is that expectation too much?
No, it's not. However, when we talk about some of the expectations we should have for our partners, we talk about understanding and compromise. And a medical doctor who is married to another medical practitioner
doctor, yes,
expects her to play a motherly role in the house. However, if there is our understanding between them, the man should know that there are times which duty calls because of the profession of my wife. She's a career person. So that's where the understanding and compromise need to come into in that situation. You might get home and the wife might be on duty. You might need to fill in for her.
For that moment.
For that moment. But that doesn't mean she's neglecting motherly role in the house. So that's where they manage situations. Even though you are expecting her to play that role, but having realistic expectation requires you to also show understanding and compromise when need be. So in such an instance, they need to find a way to balance
it. Okay, you know, it's not like I'm giving so much examples, but Folukade Amola was here yesterday, and you know, the experts we had in house threw a question at her in a way and said, okay, as an actor, you know, it's very difficult for you to see very difficult for you to see a man getting married to an actress and still allow her maintain her job, because she's going to be doing some very funny scenes, obviously, and the man will probably feel, I'm not cool with it. Now, she came from this angle of, if the man is a complete person, he doesn't need me to stop my job, because that is like you taking away my joy. Now, that is the expectation of her own man. And her man on the other side, which could be her husband, which she might get, could be saying, oh, I don't want you to act. Now, those kind of expectations, do you see them as unrealistic expectation? Or you just see it as just a reality that they have to deal with?
Well, I might equate that with an unrealistic expectation.
Okay.
Because where you see something is realistic or unrealistic, you are throwing something at your partner, which that partner might not be able to fulfill. So whenever you cannot say you knew she act, you know what
she's doing.
Yes, for a living, and she's passionate about it. If you are not ready to accept her that way, don't bother to go into her life. Not to even talk of getting married to her. But the moment you decide to allow her to get married to her, you need to allow her to do her thing.
Okay. Anyways, let me ask this now. We've been talking about expectations. A lot of people still don't probably get the hinge of it. Like, what is the healthy expectation? What is the realistic expectation? And what is that unrealistic expectation? You know, a lot of people feel like spending, if you feel your spouse should always spend time with you, your spouse should always give you that completeness, your spouse should always, you know, make you happy every time, is more like an unrealistic expectation. And some school of thought feels like, I'm not expecting too much.
Yes.
I'm a woman. He should always find time to spend with me. He should always try to make me happy, you know, on and on like that. They always just have something against it. What's your take about that?
Well, time, spending time, like you said, it could become an unrealistic expectation.
In what sense?
You don't expect a man. I was intending to start with the realistic expectation, but both realistic and unrealistic expectation, they both have this element of time. The realistic one is quality time. It is not just about time.
Spending time.
Yes. It is not just about time. It is the quality time when partners decide that, okay, let's spend, I want to spend the next 2 hours with my with my spouse or with my partner. Quality time, maybe watch a movie, go for dinner, or just stay with the family, have that nice quiet family time with themselves. That is a normal, reasonable or realistic expectation. But if you expect the man or the woman to spend the entire time when she's just free, when she can still balance it, spend quality time with you and still go about other things, maybe face a career or have any projects you need to pursue, then that's an unrealistic expectation.
Okay, all right. You know what, because let's quickly go on a commercial break. After the commercial break, we'll be right back to continue about the truth on expectations in relationship and marriage. We've been talking about relationship, now we'll go over to marriage after this commercial break. We'll be right back. Yes, welcome back. It's still family and values. We're talking about the truth about expectations in relationships and marriage. Now, we've been talking about relationship earlier on. We're going to marriage. Now, do you think that expectation has been one of the reasons why we have a high rate of divorce in, not even just in Nigeria, all over the world? And what I'm saying so is, I have heard, it's just that one of many, whereby because our husband or the wife press the toothpaste from the middle every time, and he's always correcting him, please babe, stop pressing the toothpaste from the middle, always press it from the end. To the, like, let's say she has this OCD thing, so she's always wanting everything to be perfect, and the man keeps making that mistake, always forgetting, and she had to call for a divorce. Now that is another angle of expectation. So please tell me, how do one manage these expectations when you're in marriage?
Well, that one is a whole new dimension to it, because what people must realize is that you cannot have a perfect, you can't have a perfect relationship or a perfect partner. You must realize that people come from different backgrounds, and when they come together, they look for a way to manage each other, complement each other, just try to get along with it, because it doesn't make any sense saying you request for divorce because maybe your husband is always pressing the toothpaste from the middle. Or I have an issue with that also.
Oh, really?
Yes, I don't like that. I like my things being
always
very meticulous in nature.
But you manage that, and she manages that.
That's what I'm saying. People must learn to manage, because that one is a combination. This one is a combination of being just a personality and unrealistic expectation.
Okay.
So that's why I say there are two different dimensions to the whole of that issue. And what people must realize is that, again, your expectation is dynamic. It changes as you progress in life. The expectation you have while dating, the moment you become married, that expectation
changes.
It changes. For instance, we gave an instance of the two medical practitioners. Is a good example. You understand? When people are married, for instance, now let's go outside. Let's say, okay, not necessarily medical professionals, but two working class partners. The man expects to get back from work, and the wife should prepare dinner for him to eat, knowing that he doesn't have a full-time housewife. She works, and she has taken time over the weekend to prepare different dishes. They're in the freezer. What if you are married, and what is expected of you, what the woman will expect from her husband? I've arranged everything at home. If I'm at work, if he gets home before me, I expect him to quietly fetch something for himself, just to warm it and eat. That's a realistic expectation. So in marriages, those are such expectations, they are not out of place. You see what I'm saying? It changes. But when you are dating, you might not necessarily think that I don't owe him anything. The woman is not obliged to prepare something for you to eat.
Yes, you can sort yourself.
You can sort yourself out while we do our relationship. You understand? But the moment you get married, so it changes. So you continue to reevaluate it. That's what I'm talking. So if we want to go back to the lady who requested for a divorce,
Yes.
because the husband, she failed to realize that she's no longer that single person. I now have an attachment, a partner who we say for better for worse.
In fact, let me even add, why did she even think of buying 2 toothpastes?
Let him just
Let him use one and
Yes.
then use one.
Yes.
It's not enough reason for you
See,
to file for a
that's
divorce.
that's one of the simplest solution to it.
Wow.
If you are so irritated the way he handles it, just ensure that some things are better left unsaid.
Right?
This is one good example. Just take your eyes off certain things, as long as it doesn't affect you negatively in that relationship or in that marriage. You shouldn't make an issue out of it.
Okay, so I was speaking to some persons, and they, you know, on this part of expectations, they say when it comes to the men we have now, and thank God you're a man, they say men expect the women to be the 100 yards or 1,000 yards wife material, but they forget to actually build themselves to also be 100 or a 1,000 yard material for the so-called wife. Because if you are expecting this person to be this perfect, close to perfection, how about yourself? Do you think if she's that perfect, she will want to manage with something lesser than perfection? What's your say about this?
Well, when it comes to that aspect,
Yes.
what is source for the goose is also source for the gander. You cannot have a toxic attitude as a man. You have a terrible personality. You even lack the basic training, or you lack the interpersonal relationship to even get along with people, and yet you expect you are looking for a perfect wife. You are looking for perfection, so-called wife material. You need to be an husband material to look for a wife material.
Exactly.
So it goes both ways. Being a man, I'm not an advocate that men must always clamp down on women, or men must always be right. We have terrible men out there. That's the truth of the matter. Just as we have terrible women out there.
too, yeah.
But likewise, we have great men out there. Same
Great
thing
women
applies
too.
with the women. So everybody need to work on themselves. It's in your interest to be a better person, a better man, a better woman for your spouse. So it's not as if you are doing anybody a favor. As a matter of fact, you are doing yourself
Yes,
a favor
a very big
first
one.
to be a better person before you even talk of proceeding to impact someone else's life. So if you cannot correct yourself and make yourself a better person, how can you make someone better? So it's a no-no to me. So people must just work on themselves and try to get things
In
right.
fact, before you start expecting, work on yourself. Somebody will say something. Okay, that's even for Look at Ramana. For Look at Ramana says, when you are happy, when you're complete, when you're good, you will always attract the same like minds.
Exactly.
But if you are rugged and you are just everywhere, you will meet people that are rugged and everywhere. You will just collide and things will just start happening. But anyway, let me now move. Now, I just talked about men who are looking for 100 wife material that can cook, can clean, can do everything. She works, she's independent, she can support the house, and they are just there, you know, maybe lazing around. Now let me switch to the women. We know that women of these days, the Gen Z, what they want is their parents did not give them a car. Their parents did not give them an iPhone 15. Their parents didn't give them the best luxurious life. But yet, they expect that for every man they meet, there should be a level of money you have. In fact, your house should be at this stage. Your car should be this type of car. You should be working these kind of places. What do you have to say to these people exactly? Because like you just said, don't expect what you can't give in return.
Yes, and that's another aspect I always hammer on when I have the opportunity. What you cannot give to yourself or your parents cannot give to you. Don't expect that from someone else. What people should strive for is just to be happy. I don't think people should just stay and expect El Dorado from others. Growing up here in Lagos, I remember a cartoon we used to watch then, Alice in Wonderland. If it's unfortunate that nowadays maybe they didn't go through some of the stages we passed through, some of the programs we watched. But Alice in Wonderland was a mirage. It wasn't real. Where a whole lot of things
were, you know,
were happening, good things. You see different
all
things.
beautiful.
All beautiful, but it was all happening in a dream. When they woke up, the reality came back to them. So most, for the Gen Zs, as like you said, they just need to come back to reality. They need to regain their consciousness. Life is not fairy tale. It's not a bed of roses. It takes a lot. People work hard. Even when people work hard, the system at times frustrates legitimate efforts. So you need to keep pushing. So what you should look out for, is someone, a partner with all the potentials, who is doing all the right things, going on the right trajectory, and both of you can build together. That car that you want, that iPhone that you want, both of you will work together, get to a stage, and you provide all those things. You don't need to wait for anybody to provide something for you.
And I totally agree, because, you know, I've seen a whole lot of people that, how they started, even I have some friends that, how their husband, she and her husband, how they met, how they started, you know, from 1 bedroom to 3 bedroom. And before you know, they are not even in the country. They are busy touring the country. All because they started together and they noticed that this person has a passion. This person has where he's going to, and he's not lazy. That's another point. So if you get somebody like that, I think it's just best, and not just look for the money now, because the money can even finish in 1 year. It can finish in 2 years. So what's the way forward? What are you going to do? But anyway, we have a Zoom guest that's supposed to join us and actually be part of this program. She's a lady. Let's quickly go on a short break so that we can have a Zoom guest join us live here in the program. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Don't forget, we're streaming live on Facebook and Twitter. Family and Values is right here, is on. And like we said, we're bringing values and back our culture, and we're trying to build back families. Because if we take what we have now and look at it in the next 10 years, 20 years, we might not even have the constitution, or we might not even have the institution called marriage. So that's why we're here, to give you insight on how to build your relationship, your marriage, even if you're a single mother, even if you're divorced, even if you're separated, even if you have, we even talk about health. So all of this is just for your education. And of course, we have Tumbi Olabisi that's supposed to join us, but very soon we'll be, you know, bringing our own. But for now, let's continue with what we have been talking about. And I would like to ask you, okay, what happens when the partner is not meeting up to the expectations of the other partner? What do you think? What does it result to? Is it conflict or divorce, or it just separates them?
Well, like we said, everything boils down to the expectation from both sides. And even if they are realistic expectations, like there's that tendency that someone might struggle to meet even some of those realistic expectations. But that's where communication is key. The partners should always talk and reappraise situations. There might be circumstances preventing that person. There are a whole lot of realistic expectations. It cuts across, even from emotional, financial, a whole lot. And where I feel even some people lay a premium more on emotional aspects, where they are not that supportive to their partners. And that's one of the basic expectations that partners or couples should have. So they need to talk about it. They need to constantly hammer on it and continue to re-echo that for each person.
Won't it sound like nagging? When you keep saying, because you said just a constant reminder, if you keep saying the same thing to your partner and you see expecting him to change, you keep saying it, don't you think the other person will start feeling, oh, she's always nagging, oh, he's always nagging, or will start believing that she's expecting too much?
No, that is common when the expectations are unrealistic.
Okay.
You understand? A sincere person, when your partner is expecting something realistic from you, you will know. And if that partner keeps talking about it, deep down, your conscience will tell you that, oh, really, I'm really lagging behind. I need to step up. I need to step up. However, the other aspect you talk about is when people have unrealistic. That's why the danger That's one the major danger of having expectations that are unrealistic, because the other party will now begin to look at, you are demanding too much from me.
For me.
And it's not as if I'm getting anything special.
I could be exhausted.
Yes, it can become very tiring when you know this person cannot meet up. These things are not realistic. Just like when you talk of Fuluke Daramola yesterday, someone, you know this person is in the movie industry before you met her. All of a sudden you want to pull her out and you keep hammering on it. How do you expect her to feel? It becomes asking, that amount to asking too much from that person. You are demanding for too much, and when you keep hammering on it, it's like you are nagging that person, because that expectation is unrealistic and is unreasonable. But when, like I said, when you demand something that is realistic from your partner, if that partner is not even meeting up and you keep hammering on it, deep down that partner knows you are not nagging.
Yes.
You are only stating the obvious.
The truth.
And he or she needs to step up to correct that problem before it degenerates into something serious.
Serious. Now, is there a timing to actually discuss with your partner your expectations? Because I feel like sometimes the timing might even be wrong. You might be telling the person about your expectations or what you expect the person to do, and at that point the person is not probably in that space to accept or do anything as regards your expectation. Do you think there's a timing to it?
Timing is key. It's not about just expectation, whatever we do in life. Even communication. If you say things at the wrong time, it might lead to something negative. So the timing is key. If you have a partner, you should know when to bring up certain conversation. You should know when this person is in the mood to have a conversation with you, and if you say something, that person will not feel offended. Not when you see someone is all gloomy, maybe that person is being troubled by a whole lot of pressing issues, and all of a sudden you are coming up to compound that problem. What I expect from you, you should be strategic. Why not find out what is actually bothering that person? People should address that issue together. And it becomes, imagine you supporting that person to address that pressing issue. Do you think when you come up,
in fact, the motivation to want
oh my God, the person will, in fact, it's just for you to say, just say jump, and the person will ask you how high do you want me to jump? So that's what timing does. If you get it right, you can achieve a lot. But if you get it wrong, it can bring out the worst.
It can be messy.
Yeah.
Okay, now I just remembered something. Now I watched something online about a woman. Now let me just say, from the room where this video was captured, you can see that they are very well to do. They are okay and very comfortable. Maybe more even in the average class, you understand. But this woman climbed on the bed and was shouting and telling her husband she wants an expensive wig. And the irony of it, she's actually wearing a wig. And from looking at that wig, it's an expensive wig. She's wearing an expensive wig. But now she's shouting at her husband with a bowl of water, like a big bucket of water, and saying, you must buy me wig. I want to be like my fellow ladies, my fellow women are wearing expensive wigs. Their husbands are buying them expensive wig. If you don't do this, I'm going to pour water. Eventually, to end the story, she poured water all over the bed. Then she poured the remaining. No, but before she poured the remaining one on herself, she removed the wig. That's to tell you that the wig is expensive.
Precious to her.
It's very precious to her. She removed the wig, threw it aside, then poured water on herself after pouring water on the bed. Now, looking at that scenario, I don't even know, is that one expectation or what?
As far as I'm concerned, that one is madness. Is because those are the kind of ladies that attract trouble to their that destroy their homes with their own hands. Imagine a man who provide, like you said from the clip, I didn't see it, but from what you said, the man is living up to expectation. What any sane person, once you see something that someone is doing well, why not give kudos to that person? So why use your hand? And when you keep making reference to your friends, don't look at someone else's home. Concentrate in your home. Because what might be happening there They might not be presenting the true picture to you.
Right.
They might even be envious of your own situation. I want to instigate you to destroy
your home.
So you need to concentrate on your home and leave others to their fate. As long as the man is not treating you poorly, the man is, like I said, from what you said, meeting up with expectation, which any reasonable person should make do with. With that, with such act, with such drama, that it entails nagging, being dramatic.
Obviously.
Unconsciously, you are pushing that man out. And by the time the man sees someone out there, like I said, there's a difference between a house and a home.
Right.
That's what people need to realize.
Right.
Your home should be your comfort zone, your safe haven. When you go anywhere, you go for your day's job, your hustling, everything. When you are worked out, you expect to come back home and relax. That's your comfort zone, your safe haven. So if that place is uncomfortable for you,
you look for somewhere else.
You look for somewhere else. And if he gets someone who is providing that for him, that same woman will begin to nag and raise dust that the man is cheating on her, forgetting that she who go and fetch ant-infested firewood to the house.
Obviously, inviting lizard.
Exactly. So people must be careful. Be contented with what you have, and things can only get better.
So that one now is beyond expectation.
It's beyond expectation. That's what can you say? If that wig wasn't valuable,
she would have pulled it before pouring water on herself.
Which tells you that she just have a penchant for nagging or for just demanding things. Maybe because she feels her husband can afford it.
Yeah, maybe she feels her husband can afford it, and probably she has been telling her husband.
Yes.
Her husband did nothing about it.
And probably because just because you have money, it doesn't mean you should waste it.
Right.
You shouldn't throw money around for no reason. Maybe the man felt I probably have been providing this. She should get it for herself.
Right. Because I'm very sure she's either working or she has a business.
So let her pull the fund from her own account and get the wig for herself.
Oh, well, we all know that most women, their money is their money.
It's their own.
But their husband's money
is for the family.
It's for the family. Anyway, last question before we go. I don't know what's happening with our Zoom guest. We're supposed to join us, but let's still move on. Now, how do expectations affect marriages, especially when they are not met? How does it affect it?
Well, expectation not met can affect marriages in a negative way, especially just like we said, people should talk constantly. If people keep hammering on something and it's obvious the man is just adamant and refuse to amend, it can bring division between both partners, and it might affect several aspects of their lives, of their marriages, especially maybe in the bedroom. It may lead to them not being attracted to each other. So people need to watch out. Yes, for things.
It could even lead to divorce.
Yes.
If not dealt with properly.
When married couples distance from each other and they are no longer intimate with each other because basic expectations are not being met, there's that likelihood that it might lead to divorce. So we don't want a situation where people will begin to talk of irreconcilable differences. So people need to watch out for it.
Okay, all right. Let's quickly take our Zoom guest. Our time is almost fast spent. Tumbi Olabisi, she's a relationship therapist and an author. She's actually calling from Lagos. Can we have Tumbi, please?
Hello.
Hi, Tumbi. Good morning. How are you? It's good to have you finally.
I'm doing well.
Okay, yes, I want to just ask you very quickly because our time is already fast spent. Now, how do expectations actually affect couples in relationship and marriage. I want us to even shift towards marriage, especially when your partner does not meet up to your expectations. How do this affect them?
Expectation is a big thing in marriage and any relationship, especially, you know. And so when you're talking about expectation, you're talking about either realistic or unrealistic expectations. But most of the time, there is no problem. It's not the expectation that is the problem. It is not communicating that expectation or the fact that that expectation is unrealistic. So if you have a relationship and, you know, there's an expectation problem, you know, there would be an issue. Now, I know that there is a school of thought that believes that, okay, if you don't have any expectation, there will be no disappointment. But I believe that you are just setting yourself to a life of unhappiness. Because when you do, if you find out, if people find out that when what you don't expect, then is what you get. In other words, I'm saying that you get what you expect.
Right. Okay. All right, Tumbi, network is pretty bad. Oh my word! And I was really enjoying that part.
Yeah,
where she said,
what she said is what we'll be hammering on.
Exactly.
You need to communicate your expectation. There's nothing wrong with having expectation. The bottom line is, what is paramount is that your expectation must be realistic. And when you have realistic expectation, present it to your partner. Present those expectations to your partner so that both of you can work on achieving that. And it makes people realize their responsibility in a relationship, what each partner expects from each other. So if you don't communicate that those expectations, don't expect, because one of the expectations people shouldn't have, unrealistic expectation, is believing you have a mind reader as a partner. He or she should know that this is what was in your mind. It doesn't work that way. So you need to put it out there. Put those expectations out there. Communicate those expectations to your partner, and everything will be fine.
You know what? This is where we'll be able to wrap up the program. I'm so sorry to be Olabisi. So sorry. She was actually joining us live, of course, in Lagos. Like I said, she's a relationship therapist and an author. Thank you so much, Tumbi, for gracing us and being patient despite network. Anyways, this is where we'll be able to round up. Thank you so much, Lawrence, for being on the show. It's been an amazing one. Very educative. Like I said, I'm learning too. It's a process of learning. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Of course, tomorrow we'll be talking something deeper into expectations. Now, it's going to be something deeper than this. Now, I know you don't want to miss this, of course. And like I said, we're streaming live on all our programs. We're having more live programs that are coming up shortly after this program. So don't go nowhere. Join us again next week. My name is Rose Blossom. I said next week. Join us tomorrow. There's no next week, it's tomorrow. We're having Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday through Friday. Don't miss it. My name is Rose Blossom. Do have a beautiful day, and bye for now.